Hello, hello. Hi, Nanya. Hi, Mia. Hope you're all having a fantastic day, wherever you are. Been some interesting things happening here in Australia. Um, Queensland on the border seems things happening here totally different to what's happening other parts of the country. And then on other days, I see horrible videos of elderly men with medical problems being thrown to the ground in the botanical gardens. Yeah, it's just chaotic. And from what I'm hearing is that they're going to do a blockade, is what I'm hearing. Hi, Rob. How you going? Hi, Mary. Hope everyone's having a good day. Yeah, I'm concerned about this. It's yeah, Melbourne. It's. I think it's from what I see in the media is they're trying to get the public to snap. You look at the articles they have comments on for some articles, and they have cancelled them for others. It's just Murdoch's control of everything. He has so much control. Yeah, I mean, um, if these truckies do strike, they can block the ports and the highways in no times. It's not hard for them to do. My friend, I don't know if he's watching this, but he was made the other day to have a Jabiru and told he couldn't work unless he had it. And I've been praying for him, a bit concerned because he, I don't mean to be rude, but he does have medical conditions. He's obese and drives a truck. Is at risk of clots. Um, and a lot of truck drivers. I mean, all the pilots in British Airways were given exemptions. United Airlines, all of those, Qantas, they have all been given exemptions after they had. I think British Airways had 4 pilots die within 1 week, and they cancelled the Jabiru program because they were dropping like flies, and they were worried about clots. So yeah, I mean, driving trucks, there is a clot. I used to wear those stockings when I used to take long drives. Yeah, Rob, they do want us to snap. That way they can bring the military in hard and fast, and they will. They're building these camps everywhere, all over, and they're modeling it on Howard Springs. And yeah, it's getting bad, mate. Everyone, it's um, and people the division amongst families is starting to come out. Even my own mother, the way she speaks to me, she said, "Oh, I was speaking to such and such, and she's a bloody nuthead because of this and because of that, and said she's not going to have this, and she's this, and oh." She just went on and on and on, and I said, "Are you listening to yourself right now?" And then she just turned and attacked me. Yeah, I mean, it's getting bad. And I tried saying to her, I'm worried about the borders, and the shopping center's been shut and no food, and they're traveling at the moment. And they're up north in North Queensland because she has bad rheumatoid, fibromyalgia, and all that. And they go up there for the warmth, and they were up in Cairns and with that shopping centre, and they had the Jabiru, and they check in everywhere, and they didn't get called by the contact tracers, and they stayed at home anyway because they were concerned, but yet they'd had the Jabiru. They wear masks everywhere they go. But I don't know if I want her to come here. It's sad that it's doing this to families. It's really sad. And now that people have gone out and, um, done all of these, protests and freedom rallies, they're looking at changing the terror laws. It's what I heard reading from a journalist on Twitter before. They were saying that they're going to try and change the laws and the wording, so they can arrest these people. Um, yeah, there's all these. It's just such horrible things going on. And I don't know where you are in the world, but if it's happening here, it's going to happen to you. The Jews didn't think it'd happen with the Italians. They didn't think it'd happen with Hitler. Um, Everyone forgets what Mussolini did to the Italians, and how the Vatican worked with them and hit some of the good higher elite Jews. And yeah, but and the way people are turning on each other and dobbing each other in, that's just un-Australian. Why are people doing this? It's never been done in Australia. Um, if you dobbed on someone, you were called a dog. You were frowned upon. And now they're calling people that go out and defend their rights, they're calling them idiots and stupid, and um, just full on mocking and belating and gaslighting, um, to do everything they can do to turn the topic away from what the real topic is. And that's what's going on. It's and people can't see it, man. It's concerning that people can't see it. Um, I don't know if you check out my Twitter, but I do share um, stuff quite regularly. You two fighting, please no fighting. I hope your wife's alright, Rob. Yeah, come on, guys, please. Um, Apparently, Rebel News is going to hire more people in Brisbane, Sydney, Perth, Darwin, uh, because the media is just no news. It's all controlled. You can't find anything unless you're on Scrapebook in a group or something like that. And I refuse to have Scrapebook. Scrapebook is horrible. People go on about TikTok and everything. Like, it's worse. Check this one out. This one, they're not they're not even hiding it anymore. They're not afraid of coming out in the public and showing what's coming up. Guys, please don't fight. Joel, Rob, please come on, man. Check this out. This is what they're doing for people now. Like these people are making it. Aren't they asking questions? Yeah, I have seen it, Flame. Both of you. I don't need this negativity here. Really, man. I don't. You know, it's like Morgan. If Morgan starts shit next time when I see him in the chat, I'll just block him. Like, I saw him on the live stream last time and I didn't block him. I let him go. But I'm just saying, if Morgan starts his shit again, he's gone too. I've got more people in my block list than I do have in my subscribers list. And, I'm not in it for money or anything. I just do this to share people, to show you what I see and what I learned about Bible and history and all that other stuff. I Yeah, Flame, come on, man. I know you're being attacked a lot, like Joel. I know you have, and I know you're not having an easy time, mate. I know, and I've kept you in my prayers, brother. If you want to come on, you can come on and say hello. I'll drop a link in for you if you want to jump on, say hello. You're right, Flame. I understand, man. Like, we're only human. Emotions get us at times. This was on Australia. I think it was Melbourne. And to me, it looks like the symbol of bowel. What do you guys think? Is it like a bowel symbol? I mean, to me, it's like a bowel. The Mason's god. Um, that's what it looks like to me. What do you guys think? I think it looks like bow. And why are the police wearing this? The police shouldn't be wearing anything other than their name badge. I can't see a name badge. And their flag. They should not have anything attached. They're not even supposed to wear sunnies on top of their head. And by law, they're not even allowed to cover their face. That's correct. The police are not allowed to cover their face. It is a law, and it was quickly covered up when all this shit started. Yeah, and this guy was very aggressive to the public as well. Yeah, listen to this one. This one. Hang on, Joel. I'll get you in a second. Hang on.
It'll be lots of Sundays spent in hospital.
Hear this?
Sunday, I think it's going to be quite a nice day. Yep, at home. At home. Otherwise, it'll be lots of Sundays spent in hospital.
How can they do that? Like, it's just crazy. Hey, Joel. How you going?
Hey, how you doing?
Yeah, mate. Just getting there. There's just so much shit going on here in Australia in the cold weather. And we're almost at school holidays. Like, we're almost at the end of the term with the school exams and stuff. So, yeah, almost there, man. Almost.
What
Peace in a week.
So what's going on right now then with
The Queensland government has said to all the interstate truck drivers, if you want to come across the border, you have to be vaccinated. You have to have at least one before you can come over the border into Queensland. My friend was made to have it the other day because he needs work. He needs money. He's already had a month off. He's got no money. They can't even serve meals to truckies. The truckies can't even shower. The service stations are forced to close. This is what's going on.
Long hours on the road, and now truckies have been banned from sitting at a roadhouse for a meal or even taking a shower on their rest break.
If we don't take care of these drivers, who's going to bring groceries to Woolworths? Who's going to drop off rural supply?
So, yeah, it's getting pretty bad here, man.
Well, hold on then. So they shut that down until someone has the thing?
Yeah. If you're a essential worker, right, that drives a truck or is a carer for someone, that lives on the border and at Tweed Heads and drives the Gold Coast, which is just over the border, you have to have the Jabberoo. And it's against the Constitution for Queens.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
It's against the Constitution for the Queensland government to do it. This is Queensland Police.
Did you know Lorenzo, who assaulted me, the Queensland Police were told and were given a phone call, they did not bother to get the help resistant, mate. Right.
Hey, his face is turning blue. Can you not, please? You know.
See, what a smart ass.
Can you not?
Well, here, will you pause it for a second?
Gosh.
Here's the thing. I'm trying to reconcile the situation as I see it. When I don't know if you 100%, because I mean, it's when it comes to the time that we live in and the fact that I think what we see happening is Satan is replicating everything that he already did. And when it comes to the law, now that I see that everything has been covered up and most of our history is a lie, I can't even say that the video we're watching, this could be propaganda, because you're right. As far as the law goes, as far as natural law, they can't do any of this, and they're violating commercial law, their own contracts, like you said, the Constitution.
Also, Declaration of Human Rights, the Nuremberg Code, the Vienna Treaty. There are so many treaties it's just not just Australia, but it's worldwide.
It is.
That
Yeah.
it's worldwide, mate. If you think we got it bad here, mate, I'm sorry, but it's coming to a town near you all soon, and I can see it coming.
I know. That's what I'm saying. And I think we can still try to go through, like, we have to be willing to lose the battle, knowing that yes, I believe it will get to the point where they say you have to have some type of identification. However, I believe there's strategies around it. Because I don't believe that everything is ending, super quickly like I used to. I mean, these last 6 months, seeing the scripture for what it says, seeing, what time we actually live in, that there is this short season, like seeing all that changed my entire world and my entire worldview. Like, I'm taking it as practice to fight back against these companies. I had a security guard removed from a home improvement store last year. I have it filmed. I put a video out when I still had my content up. I could show the email that I sent to their corporate. I have a conversation with their lawyer. And they got rid of the security guard 2 days later. And because when you stand up as a living man, like, that's the thing. The Constitution is irrelevant. It's a non-valid contract. I didn't sign it. You didn't sign it. And we have more rights as a living man. This video of them hemming this guy up, this could be propaganda. This could be like here, let me give you an example. When I saw the families go on airplanes, they're on the news, on every news station, and it's this young couple who has a child, like a toddler, that they didn't put a mask on, and then the whole family gets kicked off the plane.
Yeah, I saw that.
But I think that's fake. I think that was fake, and that they put these videos out to scare the people.
Yeah. Well, last year there was one there was supposed to be cops come into this woman at Bendigo, and they said they had a warrant and they wanted to take the phones, and she was under arrest, and the husband was there with the kid. And, she was in Bendigo, right? But Bendigo wasn't even in stage 4 lockdowns at that stage. She hadn't even posted, a protest or anything like that. She said, let's meet up at the park. It just seemed to us like it was propaganda. That's what it felt like. And it seemed like they were the same actors. They looked similar, so alike, But the cops here are now using rubber projectile bullets and capsicum spray. And we're not allowed to have capsicum spray or tasers here in Australia, or you can have guns as long as you got a gun license, like I showed on my video the other day. You can, but you're pretty gutsy to do that shit. You just get shot. But they're just pushing the people into a corner so they snap. They're trying to get people to go off. That's what it feels.
I don't know though, because I think they could pretty much get people, if they shut the internet off for 3 days or 4 days, they would get people to snap.
Oh yeah, for
If you think
sure.
about it, you know what I mean? Like, I think they could really push the issue if they wanted. But how does it feel for you? Like, are you fully convinced, based on the Bible and the physical evidence, that we're in Revelation 20?
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
So here's the thing, and Rob, we can talk about our personal things at another time, but to address what you said about taking the mark of the beast, or no, I'm sorry. So sorry, Rob. Yeah, we'll talk another time, but it was Rebel with a Cause that said it. They're being to take everything away from you, everything unless you get your mark of the beast. Well, Rebel, this cannot be the mark of the beast. Like,
the beast is just programming to keep you in fear. I mean, we all have differences, and we need to get along and not fight over our opinions, like of what we think it could be. But from my understanding of how history's been and the way our body is now and how we've got so-called junk DNA, I think it's already happened. I think the DNA's been shut down, and we're already under that system. We have been for several hundred years. It's selective breeding with the orphan trains, and
yes, I believe that is what the New World Order is. When Jesus left after the end of the 1,000 years, because I believe he physically was here, it says his feet would stand on the Mount of Olives. So after the millennial reign, with the orphan trains and everything, I believe that since that point, that's what the New World Order is. Because when you go back and look at it, this system of law that they're using has been in place the whole time.
Correct.
It's not new whatsoever, and it's worldwide. It's called the UNIDROIT. They all signed the agreement. You know about it, Ellis.
Yeah, UNIDROIT, yes.
I'm not even so much saying it to you. I just woke up actually maybe 45 minutes ago. So I'm about to make some coffee and hang out, I guess, for a little bit.
Yeah. I made a short. Go on, sorry.
I was gonna ask you, what are they telling you guys as far as it's like what are they telling everybody? What are they telling the masses?
Well, I don't know because I don't watch media. I look online on the internet, once a day I'll have a look at, news.com on the ABC page, but I know it's just propaganda bullshit. I try and find news on Twitter, but what I'm seeing on Twitter is posts like this of truck drivers in Australia that have said they're going to have enough and block all the major highways. So I've made a little 15-minute video explaining what they've done in the past over tax and how they wouldn't budge over money. Do you think they're going to budge over their body and their lives and their homes? A man's home is his castle, is how we believe it. These fellas are out there all day, every day, busting their guts to fill the shelves and keep society going.
Yeah, I'm trying to get the right perspective, Ella. That's all.
Yeah, mate, it's not easy because there's so many conflicting different opinions and points of views. I mean, this is a blockade from all the traffic coming out of Sydney. How the police have just closed the highway. They close each exit along the highway and they drug test, breath test, get everyone's name, and issue them fines.
And you know what sucks is the truth is, like, for me personally, I've been the only one that would not have a mask on. Like, I got my license renewed, didn't wear a mask. I was preaching to the people in the hallway because they were letting people in one at a time, even though there were people in there. They were calling people in. Well, I'm telling people in the hallway, look, you're going to watch me enter this facility without a mask on. Like, there's no doubt that, I will go in there. I will handle my business.
I've been the same for 18 months that this stuff has been going on. I can't wear them. I had swine flu in 2009, and I know from 2009 that I cannot wear them. I have a respiratory condition, and I was made, like, I had a friend that's diabetic and was afraid to go to the chemist and being harassed and all that and needed stuff. Wanted me to pick up their script because they'd been abused because they can't wear them, but they don't have a medical certificate. And now they like, when you show a medical certificate, they're not even accepting the medical certificate. They say, oh, it's fraud. It's not a real medical certificate. Go away. So many people are being denied service when they have a genuine reason to not wear the mask. They have a proper paperwork on them to show that they don't have to. And people could still see that they have medical conditions and they're still saying no.
And here's the thing. This is what I mean, to lose the battle but win the war. I had to film myself. No, I'm not saying this is going to work all the time, because exercising this strategy in law is kind of new for me. I've only been, doing this also 18 months. Because it was I never had a reason. But okay, so you would film yourself. This is my opinion. You would film yourself telling them that you have to become the belligerent claimant. So telling them that you have a medical exemption. I think you could even give them, that conditional acceptance. Because it's these people that are turning them away, saying, "Oh, well, that could be fake." I mean, these people don't know what they're talking about. So what I think has to happen is you have to film it. You have to let them go ahead and trample all over your God-given rights, as a living man. And then go through the proper change. Like, it's going to be a fight, but no one is really doing that. So when I look at that lineup, how many people are getting, to these so-called authorities and then refusing to identify them?
Well, I complained to the human rights mob, and they said they're about 3 to 4 months behind on their usual work. due to all the mask mandates that are going around and people being arrested. They get to court and everything gets thrown out when it goes to court. Their rights are just being trampled upon. The cops don't give a shit. The state government doesn't give a shit. Yeah. Did you see about this Afghanistan plane? Do you know that's not real? That is like an inflatable plane. Did you see that?
I can believe that. I've seen the videos from back when they say it was World War II, and then the soldiers carrying fake tanks. They're
Yeah.
inflatables.
Yeah, that was a
I did
fake
not see
plane.
that, girl. No, I don't really have
Yeah.
social media. I need to get a little more plugged in and be on at least YouTube a little more. I know
Yeah.
there's some serious things going on, and it's easy to get wrapped up in nonsense. You know,
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's correct. And I think all of this stuff that we do with, looking into history and all that stuff and debating over whether the earth's is flat or not, that is delaying us in growing. We cannot, endeavor our path in enlightenment if we're going to be hinged on one topic. We need to keep learning. We need to keep growing. We need to have enough energy when we die so we can face those forces when we get judged. Do you know what I mean? It's not this life we've got to worry about, mate. It's the next life. This life's short.
Will you say that again, though? The way you said it, it was kind of sketchy to me. You said we have to face the forces for. Will you say that again?
I've lost myself now. Sorry.
Or maybe it was just a figure of speech. I don't know. I mean,
Yeah,
there's
yeah.
nothing that we do down here that's going to have to do with our judgment, as far as, you know what I mean.
Well, what I mean by it is like your energy, your life force. Like when you die, apparently the body can still it's still shutting down. Like it can still hear and do things, hear things around it and all that kind of stuff. And it's just into that spiritual side when you're transitioning over. If you are too busy focusing on this world and give out all the energy that you store, all that good karma that you have gained over your life, if you're too busy on worrying about all of the negative stuff in this world, you give out all of that karma helping others. When you die, you don't have enough energy to when we front our judgment to explain ourselves. Do you know what I mean? It's just something that I've
I disagree, at least scripturally right now, unless you have a verse.
No, I don't, mate. No.
Because it doesn't. I've never seen anything that has anything to do with our energy being able. I can't withstand judgment. The Father, when I'm judged without the blood of Jesus, I can't withstand judgment. No matter how much energy I have, no matter, God wouldn't call it karma. You're storing up rewards for yourself.
Don't take it in a way like, don't go and twist it and everything, mate. Like, I mean it like in like a good way. Do you know what I mean? It's hard to explain, but it's just something that the way I understand this world and human and the human body and the structure and the physical memory of everything. Yeah. So
yeah, I think that it's a really good idea to not focus on the negative, and I think it can have a really harmful effect on us. I don't think there's going to be anybody trapped on Earth because they didn't have enough energy to get in front of God on Judgment Day. I think that everyone's going to appear before Him.
This is what happened to me when I was forced to wear a mask. I had asthma for 27 hours on the nebulizer.
You had to be on the nebulizer for 24 hours?
Yeah.
How long did you have to wear the mask?
It wasn't even on my face for 2 minutes. Like, I didn't put the loops on the ears. I just held it up over my face. Like, they said, you don't do it, you get no service. I said, I'm not putting it over the ears, and I just held it up over my face. And I just straight away, I couldn't breathe. I started coughing or spasming, started coughing straight away, spasming, and they didn't give a shit. I had an asthma attack right there. I got my puffers out, and when I have attacks, it's generally like I have it, and sometimes I end up in hospital. Like it goes for 24 to 72 hours sometimes. With COPD is what I have. So yeah, and it even says on the government website, people with respiratory conditions should not wear a mask.
But here's the problem: is because you put it on yourself, it's all the liability is completely off of them. You know what I mean? So like even you going,
but that was but it was like a state government building with a state government worker that's forcing me to put on a mask, otherwise I wouldn't get service. When it says in the Constitution, if the state Constitution laws weigh the federal laws and are just, the federal laws stand.
That's what I'm suggesting is you record that interaction. You might have to let them deny you. Don't put the mask on your face at all. You have the right to not endanger your own body. Let this, this state person, whoever this person is, let them reject services to you, film it, leave. You make sure you verbalize your
I'll get arrested for sure, mate. I know I would. And these kids got capsicum spray.
And there's people
No,
not wearing a mask.
No, listen, I'm not talking about arguing. I'm not talking about any of that. I'm talking about saying I have a medical exemption. They say no, you can't. I don't care about how aggressive. They're not going to be that aggressive because all you need them to do is on film tell you can't come in here. I am not letting you come in unless you put a mask on. And then all you have to say is, I have a medical exemption. I can't wear a mask. And then he says, it doesn't matter. You're not coming in here unless you put a mask on. Right then and there, you can leave. You can leave. He violated your rights. And who cares about the Constitution? Yeah, they're violating their Constitution. You have more rights as a living man. That's what I'm saying. I don't know how.
It's our God-given rights. Yeah, I mean, we still live by the Bible because every 7 years all our debts get wiped. People say the Bible's irrelevant to our life, but it isn't. It's our Constitution, our way of life was founded on the Bible. All our laws had founding from the Magna Carta and the Bible. It's
everything is all the legal maxims. Everything's based on Scripture. The worldwide system of Lex Mercatoria, commercial law. The whole system is based on the Bible. The whole system. And that's what I'm saying is they know that. Like when you're all these idiots at the bottom that are going to do the bidding of the agenda, they don't know what they're talking about. See, like the only one that knew that I was correct was the lawyer for this home improvement store. There was the only one. The manager.
Yeah, because they've gone to because they go to school and they're being programmed to follow everything by the book, but how wrong is it that one of the coppers here that comes up to arrest these kids and puts capsicum spray on them doesn't even have a mask on himself?
Well, I heard when I was first waking up and I first clicked on this, I heard you talking about how the police, they're not supposed to wear a mask.
They're not. No, they're not. Yeah.
You're supposed to be identifiable at all times.
That's correct. That's correct. They're supposed to have their name badge on them, their flag, no other, groups or, support anything like that. Unions and things like that. They're not supposed to be bought or supporting anything like that. I see a lot of it lately.
Do we know that this is real? Do we know that he's a cop and he's not? I mean, he could be on the set of a movie. For all I know, looking at this video.
Yeah, because there's been also so much indiscrepancies with the police uniforms, because the police uniforms Australia-wide in the last 10 years have changed a lot from light blue to navy blue, and then it goes to like a real dark blue, black in Victoria, and the ones that are doing the protests stopping that are wearing like the blue, black, dark black uniforms. That have all that heavy riot stuff on. But yeah, we're going to be judged, mocked, and rounded up, being Christians. It won't be long.
You think it's better that most of the Christians think that we're waiting on the return of Jesus and they think this is the mark of the beast? Do you think that's more beneficial for them? Because I mean,
Mm.
people do get special rewards. People who are martyred for Jesus, you know, they get special rewards. They have a special crown in heaven.
Yeah, I mean, the Lord won't judge because they did not know. You know, you forgive them for they don't know. It depends on what level the soul is at, but that is a good question, man. That really is.
Because a lot of people don't want to hear that. You know,
They don't. Yeah,
I
they
think it
don't.
might be the next. I saw Russian vids had Martin Ledkey or whoever. I don't know how you pronounce
Yeah, Martin. Yeah, yeah.
Had him
Some people say it's a laugh. Some people say that he was that singer from Linkin Park. Years ago, there was a conspiracy. I laughed when I heard it, but
who that Martin was.
yeah.
Well, all I know is he's talking about mud floods. So I think I think that at least the idea that we're, you know, post millennial reign, I think that might come around a little bit.
Oh, I hope so, because Martin used to talk Bible stuff. Like before his channel got hacked and taken over, he occasionally went down that path and shared stuff. But I think it was a lot of other subscribers saying, "Oh, not the Bible shit," and now anyone that mentions God just tunes out immediately. But yeah, I noticed when he does the live streams with RB, he seems to talk about the Bible a bit more freely and not as sarcastic.
That's
Pardon?
that's the missing puzzle piece for them. Like when they're whatever his name is, Levi or Levy.
John, yeah.
Like that's
What's
Static in the Attic, like all these people that get deep into looking at all this evidence, and then they're just missing the part of this.
Bible?
It's all
Yeah.
biblical. This is all
And
biblical.
what's great is when this light bulb moment happens, the answers that we're looking for is going to come to fruition because we're all working together. You know, that's just the universe expanding. Yeah, I think it's interesting. You know, they say at the you don't get all the information about the Bible until the end times. Like you won't understand the Bible until the end times. You know, we have to be living in the end time.
Yeah. But I think it's the end of the end. Like we're at the very, very end of the Bible. Judge, like Gog and Magog. That's the setup that I see, is that if we're really in Revelation 20, the next thing that happens is fire comes from the sky, and it will come. You know, it says we get surrounded. Satan gathers his armies. He surrounds us, and then fire comes from God out of heaven. So if that happens, as everyone thinks that things are now, they think we're waiting on the mark of the beast. So if fire comes from heaven, they're not going to think, oh, that's the Father sending fire. They're going to say fallen angels are attacking. And then the world will be like, they're aliens. And Satan just tricked the Christians and the world into teaming up against the Father because they think we're at a different part of the Bible. Like
that's the sad part about it. I think, you know, is so many of them will be deceived. I mean, even my dad, like, he's saying about the tribulation, and we used to fight over it, but now I'm just don't fight with him over it because he is so stuck in his way. Yeah, it's hard for people. I think like once you've lived your life a certain way for so long, learned behavior kicks in, and humans with their fight or flight mode learn behavior. If it's something different out of their realm, the cognitive dissonance kicks in and they don't cope too well, you know.
Yeah, I think it's the brain protecting it themselves.
Yeah, I mean, look how stupid this video I've got up at the moment is, you know.
What is it?
Putting a bit of plastic up to have a hug with her grandma.
See, it's the worst part is none of it's real. There's nothing for her to even be afraid of, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, that's what you know.
But, they probably put that on the news, if I had to guess. That they probably put that on the morning news.
Oh, it'd have to be staged for sure, you know. Like, I see a lot of stuff again coming out of China. You know, just stuff all over the world. It's all just taking place, you know.
It's so traumatic to children. Like, could you?
It is, yeah. And there are so many. What the problem is at the moment, there are so many young children committing suicide in Australia. They have a hell of a problem with it at the moment. and it's not being spoken about. And these kids are also dropping like flies from the Jabiru.
It's
So
the psychology, the state of people's minds in this current generation is so bad with attention spans. It's like the game is pretty much already over. Like they've got people so like this current generation.
Yep.
Their attention span is like a matter of seconds. Like they're like robots. And
I think in the 80s, goldfish attention span was 6 seconds or 7 seconds. And in the 90s, the human was, I think it was 12 or 14 seconds. But now it's turned around. The human attention span is something like 4 seconds. Goldfish is like 7 seconds. It's just reverse. Humans have gone backwards so fast. Yeah. People can't do basic maths. They don't know basic English. They don't know history. They don't know the founding of their country. They can't see the lies of all of the false flags that have happened, the false wars. And it's just so conflicting. It puts people on different paths.
Yeah.
But
so how long are they telling you that the lockdown is supposed to be?
Well, Sydney's been 7 weeks so far. Melbourne's had something like over 200 days of lockdowns. There's 6 weeks or something. It was only supposed to be a few day lockdown. That's what I mean. People are just sick of it. Yeah, that's what I mean. I can't see this shit going on in America. I really can't. I can see the Americans just full on going, "No, fuck you," pull their guns out.
I don't think so. I don't think so. I really don't.
You really don't? You don't think they will?
There's going to be small pockets of people that pop up.
Yeah.
But overall, no way. People are just going to do what they're told. And we have to think about this. This is a several year process to getting.
Oh yeah.
To getting
10-year corporations. Yeah.
Well, to the digital currency part, to get to the actual tattoo or the digital tattoo, whatever their final goal is. They first have to transition because they're not going to completely crash the dollar. Like in my opinion, I was preparing for the dollar to crash, and I was getting silver and finding strategies, to survive through that. I think they're just going to transition into cryptocurrency. But that's going to take at least 12 months, easy, and they're going to have to get people used to using.
Well, they've been trialing it in Sweden and other places, and the reason they want the cryptocurrency in is because they say it's crypto and that it can't be traced, but it's blockchain, and it means that every transaction is recorded by the computer. So every location, every amount, every IP, whatever, they know who's doing it, and it's basically going to stop a lot of black market and horrible shit going on. But it also means that everything will be digital. You won't be able to barter or sell.
Well, Ella, let me ask you this. Do they have cash for gold stores in Australia? Like you?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So here's what I think is going to happen. They're going to have, because there's nothing new under the sun. So if gold and these precious metals always had a value, they're always going to have a value. So instead of it being cash for gold, it's going to be digital dollars for gold. So what I think you could do is, if you have gold or silver, you could go to a neighbor, someone who takes the mark, not the mark of the beast, but the tattoo, who has the digital bank account that you refuse to get. And you say, hey, I'm going to give you X amount of silver. I'm going to give you this much profit. Can you go get these items for me? And then reuse their, you know what I mean? Like they can use their account.
Yeah.
Whatever.
But what people don't understand is that that thing of buy and sell, that was, hang on.
Pale Horse Rider, I agree. They are casting spells.
Sorry, can you guys hear me? My headphones made a funny sound.
Yeah.
But yeah, that where they talk about, right, where you can't buy or sell without the mark of the beast. Think about it. You can't, since the 1666 Celebrity Act, the birth certificates, you know, with your strong men, with all the syntax grammar change. What I've been looking into with the mudflood and that is the date change, but not only that, also the language changing, and how different countries use different languages and different coins. And I said coins will help us solve when these things did happen. I think they will give us an answer. But you cannot buy or sell anything without ID, your identification, your birth certificate. You can't get a job in Australia without a birth certificate and ID. You can't do anything. You can't.
It is sick. It is really sick.
You can't rent a house now in Australia. They are what they're doing is they're trialing it at the moment, but it's going to be bought in permanently. If you want to buy a house or sell a house, you can't do it through the old way in doing a bank transfer. You have to go to the bank, but the bank goes to this digital currency website that's run by the government and transfers the money through that digital currency website so the government can track and trace all where the money's coming from, what houses are being bought and sold, and what the prices are. And it's going to be permanent soon. But people don't have a choice in it. And you won't be able to buy a house with cash. You have to go through this cryptocurrency website that the government is making everyone use.
Yeah.
You know? Gone are the days where a farmer could get a house and, you know, live and not pay out taxes. And Stu, I think the Australians will resist, mate. We are the most belligerent country out there when it comes to our personal space being invaded. We're nice, but yeah, once that personal space is invaded, we don't like it, you know. And a lot of us, we have family that died in the war and lost loved ones in the war, and they didn't fight for this. Yeah, they didn't. Yeah, they didn't fight for this. They'd be turning in their graves, man. So much blood was spilt over this country. You know, and it's all you know, dark forces. Look at that video I made about them mocking with the New World Order, like on a current affair program with the Tracy Grimshaw. They speak about New World Order. They done it on a few other programs on ABC, which is the government one. I think Mr. A was saying something before about ABC. The other night something happened.
It's so sick. I'm not trying to laugh. It's just, it really, I guess that's my weird reaction to it when I think about all. You're right. They flaunt it. I mean, and
they do.
And I think they do it on purpose. Like when they show that clip of Donald Trump saying this is the calm before the storm, they knew, and they have tons of agents they have to in YouTube that are pushing the truther narrative, and we stand back and laugh at the mainstream saying they don't get it, they don't understand that none of that's real. We don't understand that a lot of the things we've been believing for years. I mean, I've followed all this journey of the conspiracy path to go down CERN and just like all the different rabbit holes, when a lot of them are probably not real, and it's just keeping us completely distracted. But they know.
They are important, and yeah, they know. And what they fear is us coming together as one, and you know, not judging each other, not disrespecting each other, but loving one another and joining hands. Yeah, our energy, where we raise our vibrations from this low frequency hum that we have at the moment, humanity can smash what they're doing. And this is why they keep up with the propaganda, because if they don't, and you know, the Australian government didn't expect the Australian people to wake up so fast too, because it's changed a lot. Like you can't see stuff on YouTube like you used to. Like they push a lot of the narratives. You know what I mean? Like that Lee Charles crap, and so much crap just gets pushed. You know. Now I see a lot of the TikToks on YouTube, and it's just turning to shit, mate. You know, absolute shit. You know, like there's stuff on it, like your content, there are good content providers. I follow my content friends and all that, but mate, it's almost like Satan has copied so much that he's run out of stuff to copy and can't find anything new. You know?
You know, and that could very well be. I mean, we know that he can't create anything.
He can't. And he just
So
copies and copies, and it's almost like he's run out of stuff to do.
well, they have been recycling movie scripts for decades. But I
Yeah.
think that could just be because it works.
But even when I look at people in society, mate, I look at these girls wearing big glasses and not plucking the eyebrows, and that's late 80s, early 90s stuff. You know, it's just same as music. Everything is just repeating. I look at the way Prince William's wife is dressing with those long dresses. You know, that's sort of late 70s, early 80s dresses, and now they're all the rage again. I think they want everyone to be gender fluid. They don't want male and female. They just want humanity is all they want. They don't want people to be able to think.
Well, check this out. I think that they do want everyone to come together, and I think that it's the context. If everyone were to come together and hold hands and everything, like you said, but we did it as Christians filled with the Holy Spirit and power in the name of Jesus, I think that's really what Satan fears. I don't think he fears everyone coming together holding hands with higher vibrations in like a kumbaya, we just love everybody and everything's acceptable. I think that they want that. I think they don't want the church to be in agreement. It, you know, when the Holy Spirit came, it said they were all in one accord. You know, it's very hard for us to be in agreement with one person. You know, and we say it all the time, like we're never going to agree on everything. Well, it's hard to get to agreeing on the foundations of things, like how to go out. What I was going to say, and I know I'm kind of getting off track. What I want to say is we can talk about all the things going on, but I think that if us individually, and I know you do this, Ella, but this is for everyone, I think that we need to really get on our face and seek the face of the Lord and seek God's will for that day. In that morning when we wake up and say, what do you want me to do? God sees everything going on. We can try to scramble and make our plans to adjust and have a strategy on what are we going to do with all the lockdowns and everything going on. I think we need to daily get our instructions from God. The Holy Spirit promises to guide us into all truth. He will show us things to come. I mean, God will talk to us. And I think that that's where we need to get our focus is let's all use our talents and do God's will for our life. And that is the result of us all coming together. If we all start to seek a relationship with God, you know, a stronger relationship, that's the only way that we're going to shut Satan down.
That's why they don't want people coming together in churches and taverns and things like that, because that's where all the revolutions have been formed, you know. And that's the thing. It only takes one person to turn around and say, hey, do you know about Jesus and the Holy Spirit? You know, it doesn't take much to show a person that they're doing wrong and lead them to the right path. It's, you know, that's what I've been doing the last few years is I've been trying to get as many people to see what this real world is. That's what I've been doing is just trying to show that you can't believe everything you see, but you know you can trust on the Lord. You know, that's where I stand with it, mate. This matrix is so it needs to be fixed up. This is just hell.
Well, I think it's almost over. I think God's gonna create a new heaven and a new earth, and this whole thing's almost over. But I want to ask you this, Ella. Do you remember what it feels like not being awake to all these things?
That's why I have so much patience with people, because I know I was there probably 20 years ago, 25 years ago. I know I was there, and it's hard. It's so frustrating, mate.
Like, cause I was trying to think the way I used to think, and I don't know if I can like ever go back to that fog, like that fake everything's fine, like I thought I believed in God somewhere in the back of my mind, and like I thought everything was what they presented to us. But I'm
Yeah.
trying to be more patient with people that have no clue. You know what I mean? Like I'm starting to realize after all these years that I walk away from a conversation thinking one thing happened and not realizing that it was like the total opposite for whoever I was talking to, because they're coming from a different perspective.
Yeah, and it's hard to sometimes understand a different person's point of perspective because they might have lived it and done it differently to what you would perceive it to be, and they might have had different outcomes and interactions. It's hard, mate. It's not easy, and that's where we need to love our neighbor and support our neighbor and help them, guide them. You know, not judge. That's the biggest thing is not judging. As much as I would like to call people out and say stuff, I bite my tongue because it's not my place, you know. But apart from when I see people full on bullying and belligerent and all that kind of stuff, you know, I'll step in. But if it's not my place, I don't.
Well, and that's the thing. We all have different roles. It's not a bad thing. Like if God has it to where that's not your position or that's not your place, then
Yeah,
why would you play a position that's not yours? You know, and that's it takes a lot of strength to bite your tongue. I think it takes more strength. It takes tons more strength. I mean, the idea to speak well of those who curse you, bless your enemies. I think that's like the hardest thing to do.
mate, it's hard. Like the hardest thing I ever did was forgive my brother for what he did to me. But once I did that, I can tell you the pain lifted off me. I didn't have this feeling of being the victim. But I just felt totally different, totally new person. You know.
Yeah,
But
it really changes things when we forgive. It's not easy, but
it does. It's not my place to judge him. I've forgiven him, and the Lord will deal with him and whatever he's done since. It's the Lord's judgment. And I played the victim for 20 years, punished myself, learned behavior, and I didn't need to do that, but it did lead me to be a more understanding and compassionate person. You know, all walks of life.
well, it doesn't matter how you start the race. It only matters how you finish.
That's it. It's
I
just,
think that.
yeah. Just shared in the comments a link to Nexus magazines. Rob made a comment. I've been reading Nexus since I was probably 12, I think. My dad used to buy Nexus and New Dawn is another one. They're made here in Australia, and the amount of information that is printed in these magazines has really helped me grow a lot and understand this world. So Duncan, I think, is the editor of it. But yeah, no, Joel, it hasn't been easy, mate. I mean, I got upset last month, and I've been biting my tongue with my father for a long time, and after several years, I finally unleashed it, and I felt so bad, but I felt I had to do it.
How
Say it.
long were you trying to?
6 years, mate.
I hear you. I did it. Yeah, I did it just a little longer. But pretty I'll say 6 years. I mean, that's
6 years I put up with it. I was biting my tongue, and I felt so bad when I snapped at him and said, "Look, it's this way, it's not that way, and you've got to stop living in the past and move on. I know you're alone, and your wife died, and this, and like I feel so bad, but it actually snapped him out of his little rut. He was in a rut, of his wife dying from motor neuron disease.
how long ago was that?
5 years ago,
Hmm.
but he'd been cutting me off before she died, so.
Well, then that's because he didn't hit. I think what it comes down to is that they're not trying to be selfish, but their immediate needs, the fact that people are in pain, means more to them than the fact that the world is a lie and what they've already
Correct.
going on.
Yeah.
They're
See,
like,
like,
I don't care about all that. I want you to focus on me, or I need to focus
correct.
on me.
Yeah.
I'm
See,
not.
Dad. Yeah. See, Dad was given like a 14% chance of living with his heart condition in 2014, and was supposed to die, and yet he survived the surgery. His heart was totally healed, and then he's got to nurse her. You know, he didn't tell me. He knew about it years before she fully got really bad, and I was really heartbroken that he didn't tell me, because I was a registered nurse. I could have helped them. He didn't have to go through that alone, you know, and going through that alone, that would have been hard, you
Yeah.
know. It would have been really hard. Normally, I can talk to my dad about anything. I can tell my dad anything, but I just couldn't disrespect him and say what I wanted to say.
You
It's
know
6
what?
years, you
Hey,
know.
hey.
Yeah.
Check this out. This just hit me, and I am listening. I did not
Yeah.
hear the last sentence you said. I heard it, but it didn't click. But this thought just hit me. What if we tried to make content, and it might not matter at all, but what if we tried to make content? Because all of these conspiracies we see today, there had to be conspiracies. Because I'm not, I'm only 35, so I haven't seen a whole lot going on here, and it's hard for me to believe what I see. But there had to be people, when we go back to walking on the moon, there's people that were born then that questioned it. You know what I mean? There had to be constant conspiracies. What if we tried to work backwards, to make content for our family that are much older, much more programmed, that would go through,
I
quickly,
think that might actually help them understand what
to be
what
like,
the
hey, do
world.
you remember when
Yeah.
this big fire happened and they said it wasn't real? You know what I mean? It's like boom, yeah, you were right. That wasn't real. Here, look at this
Yeah.
moon landing. That wasn't real. And it's almost like we have to unravel them going backwards through their life, because they feel
Yeah.
like to,
Deprogramming, correct.
yeah. I don't know if that
That's
was
a
right.
really good idea. I mean, I got a really big history book of the last 200 years, and newspaper photos all put together. I was looking at it the other day, and then last week I made a video about conspiracies that came true, because I was trying to get that out, that, the media are gaslighting people so much with the word conspiracy, saying it, and then people believe that it comes from the CIA in the 60s, when it didn't. It comes from the 1700s. That's how old that word is. It's not a new word. It comes from the 1700s, but it's done to gaslight. And yeah, I shared a couple of weeks back about conspiracies that had come true, and I think that's a really good idea, because it's how I think my dad woke up, but he got to the age where he knew he couldn't do anything. He's 73 now. What can he do? He's got medical conditions. It's too late for him.
So yeah, so at this point, it really is just preaching the gospel. I mean, letting him know, that I don't know if he's fully persuaded. It's hard to, really tell. So yeah, like deprogramming him to the world might not even be his focus because of his health problems. He might not care at all.
Yeah, he's just like thinking, like, he just wants out of here. He just doesn't want to be here, and it's so hard. It really is hard, and there's so many people out there. And you know what worries me too? Our state the other day legalized euthanasia. And I can see it going down to the path like Futurama, where Bender's trying to commit suicide and meets, young fella that just become unfrozen, and he didn't know what it was, and he walked into the booth and almost died, but Bender saved him. It's going to be like the lineup where heaps of people just want to die, because you look back in history, whenever there is catastrophe, drought, plagues, famine, all this, when that happens, people commit suicide. That happens so often.
Yeah. Well, that's
If humanity cannot see a way out, generally, they will end it. It's like something's programmed in, that if you can't see a good life happening, end it. It's like it's like your soul knows you're trapped here. That this life is short. You don't worry about it. It's almost like your soul knows.
Right. I think that there could be programming going on as far as that part, but I also think that it's a lot of a spiritual attack. I believe that Satan, that there's demons that will send fiery darts or arrows. They'll shoot random thoughts at people to get us to be in that mindset. You know, Satan will tell someone to kill themselves, will tell them their life is over, it doesn't matter, everything's ending anyway. You know, what's the point of planning for a future? I mean, you know, the New World Order, like when it comes to the conspiracy people, like those are the thoughts that I've had years ago where it was like, what's the point? But I think that you're absolutely correct that it's a very serious problem that I didn't know that there was like a serious epidemic of children that are committing suicide in Australia. That's brand
Oh,
new.
it's bad, mate. Yeah, it's bad. There was the other day, I think it was
Ella,
Thursday
I'm
or
gonna make
Friday.
coffee. I can hear you, so I'm gonna let you
Yeah.
take
I'm
over.
going to play a video in a minute, but the other day there was 13 or 1400 calls to Lifeline, which is the, you know, place phone line where you call if you want to suicide, you know, you're at your last peak, you got no one to talk to, you call them. They had 1300 calls in one day. They've never had that many calls in one day of people saying, I want to end it, and especially young children. You know, like when I see people like that, I can understand why they're feeling like that, but it's not the way out. That's not the answer. It's not going to help you. It's going to put you on a bad path. It's not good. You shouldn't do it. And same as the euthanasia stuff. It's just you shouldn't do it. I feel like it taints your soul a bit. But I'm going to share this video about Razorback Mountain, where the Australian truckies in 1979 full on stopped everything. So I'm just gonna share. I hope I've got the right screen. No, it's not sharing. Why? Sorry, I'm just gonna do this again. Wrong one. So thanks for everyone that's still here. Appreciate you all. G'day, how you going? Welcome, hello to all my subscribers, non-subscribers, trolls, bots, and yes, you lurkers alike. Not sure if people are getting uploads when I do upload. I haven't done much uploading lately because every time I go to record something, it gets wiped. It's really frustrating. Also, almost school holiday, been doing exams, but there's talk on Twitter about shutting down the state, basically doing a blockade. It's trending. Basically, what started it was they've had enough to begin with. There's so much paperwork to just even cross all the different borders. And now they've been told that they have to get the Jabiru. And if they don't get the Jabiru, they're stuffed, you know. So this is a major concern. I am concerned about it because it's happened before. 79, the defence still on Razorback. Midway through a 9-day blockade by truck drivers around Australia demanding the abolition of road taxes. Our reporter met with the revolutionary truckies of Razorback Mountain, 7th April 2020, 12 a.m. It's almost like they want the Australian public to riot so they can do martial law. That's what I see with all of our news. I see that's what they want the people to do. Truckies blockading Sydney and other major cities last night said they would stay put despite the state government plans to drop road maintenance tax from July 1. From Razorback Mountain outside Sydney, the spokesman for the blockading road truckies, Ted Stevens, said the blockades will continue until all drivers' demands were met. And this was big. This was all over Australia. They did it at Marburg, the Port of Brisbane, Sydney, Melbourne, Perth. It was big. I mean, that Sydney will face serious food shortages this week. Industries could be brought to a standstill as tens of thousands of workers are stood down. Supermarkets warn that fresh fruit and vegetables are likely to be in scarce supply and that many stores might have to start closing down by the middle of the week. And this is true. Without trucks, Australia stops. They got rid of all the rail freight, put it on the road so they could get more tax, sell more oil, make more tax, and now if these fellas do it, block the highways and block the ports, they're fucked. They are really fucked. I wouldn't encourage it. I wouldn't go out protesting either. I seriously wouldn't. I know it's our rights. There are different ways of doing it. Yeah. As well as dropping road maintenance taxes, the minister agreed to lift the maximum load a truck can carry and to confer with companies in a bid to help drivers fix a higher freight rate. Mr. Stevens said road maintenance tax should be dropped immediately, not from July 1. Nobody can pay it now. How will we afford to pay it until then? We are prepared to stay here as long as it takes for the common sense to prevail. Fiat still a Razorback. Evan Greens reports on Razorback. The revolutionary truckers and Razorback Mountain are expected crowds of sightseers to drift into their makeshift camp today. Lots of the locals bought them food because they were mostly they were out of town. They weren't local drivers. Some of the visitors, they hope, will take food and money without which the blockading truck drivers need it. And this is before social media, people. But most will go to gape at the massive rigs blocking the Hume Highway and to gaze at the Blue Singlet and T-shirt brigade who have sparked the spontaneous and spectacular grievance poster which now threatens to strangle the nation. And what a sight it is. Now, this was just done by two-way and word of mouth. A jumble of Kenworth, Mercedes, Max, White, Scanias, Louisville Fords, and other kings of the road litter the highway. The trucks and the goods they contain are worth more than 75 million. No alcohol. Having seized a valuable part of Australia's busy highway, the truckies are acting. Alcohol is forbidden in the camp by common agreement, so their cause will not be tarnished by misbehaviour. You see, tough men bursting their muscles and broad bellies, licking ice creams and drinking cans of soft drink to combat the sweltering heat. Volunteers wandered around picking up scraps of rubbish so that the site with the massive bull bars, towing prime movers and disembodied trailers is unusually clean. Some wives and children are there, but most of the groups are men. They sit together and talk usually about their common loves, trucks and travel. Helicopters from the TV station buzz the mountain. They bring cameramen to the scene and race back to the city with their film. A status race has developed between the pilots. The Channel 10 broke its best, and one of the drivers told me with the lane guard authority of a Bill Collins. Although stung by the remark, the All-7 helicopter takes off from a nearby paddock and raises by the tail like a prawn being lifted from a plate. Then it sweeps across the scene, curls the air, spirals away to the left. That wasn't bad, and the Bill Collins man admits. Police hovering on the outskirts are treated with respect. It is they who will be forced to act if the government decides on harsh measures, and it is their blood, if any, which will be spilled if such orders are given. Although the occupancy is gentle, the mood is tough and implacable. If they tried to move the trucks, they wouldn't be able to get near us, one driver told me. There would be 100 blokes down on top of them. Surprisingly, the stoppages were not planned, nationwide move, but spread from the original blockade of Razorback in a serious, spontaneous outbreak. It just happened, word of mouth. They left, they pull up into a servo, have a feed, shower, tell, the kitchen hand and room, just word of mouth. It just spread. The man who started it is Tex Stevens, 35 at the time, an owner-driver from the outer suburb Sydney of Lithgow Park. He was one of the 6 delegates elected by a meeting by the drivers to press their claims with the Transport Workers Union and the government. He says they were promised a meeting with the Transport Workers Union, but the meeting was never eventuated. Last Saturday, I got home from Melbourne and was very worried and had a discussion with the wife, he said. I said, look, love, I'm either going to give the truck back or I'll park it in the middle of the highway. He and other 5 delegates decided to meet on top of Razorback on Monday. Stevens and the 5 other drivers, including 3 close friends, Cole Bird, Barry Grimson and Carl Goodfellow, parked on the road at a truck bay normally used to cool heavy vehicles after the long grind up the mountain. And on Sesame Street, man, up and through there, even today, if you're fully, like a B-double fully overloaded, man, she will heat up in a hot day in 40-degree weather. You do end up having to pull over. Over his CB radio, Stevens, codename Grindog, announced, "We're here to stay." Not many drivers heard the declaration. They just rumbled into the revolution. Within half an hour, 6 other drivers had joined them. By nightfall on Monday, 100 heavy rigs blocked the highway. "My truck is here until it rots, and so is every other man," Stevens said. I asked him how his wife felt about the dispute. She was a little bit upset. I had to talk to her on the telephone today. She was crying. She was a very emotional girl, but my wife, she's 1,000% behind us. One of the other drivers, Daryl Shawn of Baxter, Victoria, said, "We should be living on a par with people like bank managers when you consider the size of our investment and the responsibility we bear." And now it's actually more responsibility with the chain of responsibility laws that they brought in. One man truck driver's wife who moved to the mountain to join the blockade is Miss Barbara Frew of Campbelltown. It's a hard life being married to a truck driver. Until we had the baby, I used to drive with him, and then it was easier. We'd be away as much as 2 weeks on a run interstate. Life is very hard on marriages. This is the second marriage for both of us. It's a hard battle. We're lucky. It's only a cheap truck, and we're paying only $500 a month on it. But some of the boys are paying $1,500 to $1,800 a month. And that's a lot back then in 1979. That's a hell of a lot of money. You've got to keep the wheels rolling, or they'll let you drive only 10 hours a day. And now you can only drive 14 hours a day. If you've got your basic fatigue management, you can drive more. Perhaps one day soon I'll share some photos of me driving trucks and my truck life. My son was brought up in the truck until he was about 3, just before he went to prep and school. He could read by the age of 12 months. He just loved the truck. I might share the videos one day soon. I don't know. Got some fun videos. It's just mainly like me driving and being. Yeah, but this concerns me. It really does. Let's see, old Hume Highway. Now they got dual carriageway. There's 3,000 truck drivers at the time of this writing. It's located 4 states last night. New South Wales drivers. Ted Stevens, the national highways were about to close down. Blockades built up New South Wales, Victoria, Queensland, South Australia after talks on truckies. Grievances broke down in Sydney. Drivers will block railway yards between Sydney and Melbourne to thwart attempts to get cargo through rail, he said. 200 truckies on Mount Razorback, South Sydney, last night voted to block off haulage terminals in Sydney that were virtually city off all carrier traffic. Private car and emergency vehicles will be allowed through most blockades, but heavier transport vehicles will be stopped. Sydney, ringed by about 19 blockages, could suffer food shortages by tomorrow. Major protests in Victoria were Horsham, that's on the border, 125 trucks, and Marsden East, 100 trucks. Similar blockades were built up at Milton. That's just on the outskirts of Melbourne, and Calico and Little River. Victorian police were watching the blockades last night, and their instructions were to avoid all confrontations. Reinforcements were being organised at Russell Street in case they were needed. A muster at the Horsham roadblock decided at 11:30 last night to ban all transport, including essential service, until at least the morning. The biggest TNT contractor in Australia, Bunkers, took their entire fleet off the road yesterday evening at Shell Victoria. Tankage drivers went out in sympathy last night. The number of blockades across the eastern states snowballed when news spread. The delegation of drivers who walked out of Sydney in talks are aimed at breaking the deadlock over the road tax and other issues. Now, if it's done today on our roads today, it's going to be hell. It's going to be chaos. I've already gone and bought lots of flour and pasta. Got my boys still eat meat, I don't, but I got meat for the boys and fish. We just stocked up. I can see food shortages and all that shit coming soon. So here's some old images of the trucks. And today, like still a lot of the old drivers get together, and there's a lot of memorial runs the truckies do every year. So it wouldn't be hard for the truckies to organise and pull it together. It does concern me. I've been there up in here to this site. All of their sites pretty much. Here's a map that shows it. So Perth and surrounding districts. So added to the blockade figures is conservative estimate of 20,000 trucks. So near the smaller blockades, contractors' yards are parked at homes throughout the nation. There are 40,000 articulated vehicles registered throughout Australia. Perth and surrounding district, Canterbury 50, Greenmount 30, Kelmscott 30, Multshire 50, Brett Hill 6, Southern Cross 80. Adelaide's surrounding districts. So you got Anstey's Hill, Bridge Road, Carvin, Crofters Bypass, Golden Cove, Grawler Bypass, Modernberry, Highland Hill, Pookaburra, Melbourne and surrounding district, Coldstream 30, Exford 15, Geelong 100, Gilsbourne 60, Hallam 50, Calcutta 200, Lang Lang 80, Little River 70, Melton 120. Murchison 150, Wodonga 60, Sydney and the surrounding districts, Blacktown 12, Crossroads 75, Cashera 75, Camden 50, Coronel 40, Liverpool 60, Mount Curragh 300, McGrath's Hill 50, North Ryde 4, Prospect 100, Rozelle 10, White Bay 15, New South Wales Albury 25, Berkshire 40, Burke 30. Burke is out here. Burke is out in the middle of fucking whoop, fucking nowhere. Bendemeer, 160. Bonshaw is in up here on the northern tablelands. Bogabilla, that's on the Queensland border, just up in here. Barona, Berringen, Bell, Burleigh Pass, Bathurst, Collow Heights, Coffs Harbour, 150, 80, 140, 26, 12, 12, 400, 7, 160, 30, 20, 25, 15, 10. Griffith, 50, Grafton, 20, Hexham, 65, Hat, 63, Kempsey, 40, Lithgow, 12, Marangaroo, 65, Moree, 10, Mount Lambie, 120, Mount Olseley, 130, Mount Victoria, 42, Orange, 20, Queanbeyan, 20, Razorbacks, 300, Tocumel, 13, West Wyalong, 150, Warrapy, 5, Yass, 811, Brisbane and surrounding districts, Aratrula, 80, Blue Desert, 42, Burpengary, 60, Coomera, 25, Esk, 6, Queensland, Gundawindi, 300, Rockhampton, 25, Toowoomba, 40. So that was just back in 1979. Word of mouth one day just took off. I'd hate to imagine what could happen if they did it today. Just be prepared. Stock up. Don't stock up on toilet paper. Fuck, if you run out of toilet paper, get in and have a shower. You don't need to worry about toilet paper. Worry about buying fucking food. You see so many people at the shops rushing to buy toilet paper and fighting over toilet paper. It's just stupid. You're being programmed because you saw it on the TV. You fight over it because others want it. Worry about the food. It's all a distraction. It's all part of the script. I like a little saying. I'll share it again. 1% control the world. 4% are sellout puppets. 90% are asleep. 5% know and are trying to wake up the 90%. The 1% don't want the 5% waking up the 90%. Do you get it? Think about it now. We got a lot of B doubles which go up to 64.5 ton, and road trains that go up to 110 ton. This is a road train. It's a road train. Road train. Road train. B double. B double. Road train. Road train. B double. These babies are long, these rigs, and it's not going to take many of them to block the highways. These are our class of trucks in Australia, and they get big. So yeah, it's not going to take much. And you're not going to take on the trucks, no way. They're big bastards. Mainly they're B doubles. We have a lot of road trains on the Warrego Highway now, going Brisbane to Toowoomba. So it wouldn't take much to block the Port of Brisbane and all these roads. Gateway, all of that. It's very concerning. I just hope it doesn't get aggressive. It's just like the media are pushing the public to snap. It's the way it feels at the moment. Yeah, they just want people to go off and snap, and that way they can declare martial law and lock them down. You know. So yeah, these are on the road everywhere. They're good fun to drive. Lots of fun. Yeah, stock up if you can. So yeah, that's just what Razorback was about.
I wonder if they're gonna really do that.
Yeah, they will, mate. I can see it actually happening. I've spoken to a few truck drivers. Like I used to drive. I might dig out the old videos. And these people I know don't talk shit. You know, they say what they say they do. That's what concerns me, mate. You know, and once this kicks off, do they change the terror laws like the media are saying? You know, like the media are saying that the government is trying to change the terror laws behind our back without us knowing.
The what laws?
The terror laws. So they can class citizens, you know, as domestic terrorists. So
Gotcha. Okay.
yeah.
See, that's the thing. I went really hard into studying law last year for sure, and I'm wondering, you know, because a citizen that's all part of the legal fiction. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
that's the dead corporation. So like, how do we separate ourselves from that? I know Alan talked a lot, you know, about going, you know, out into the middle of nowhere, basically, but.
Yeah, there was a bloke in Australia that done it. I made a video about it, Prince Leonard. He did it, but I think when you do it, you have to agree to not claim benefits you agree to pay when you use hospital and all that kind of stuff. I think you don't get to use what the government has built. Check out the video I made. He died not long ago, and as soon as he died, within 18 months of him dying, his property was taken by the tax mob. But whilst he was alive, the tax mob wouldn't touch him. He knew the law.
That's
Yeah,
I'm,
his son didn't.
what's the video called? I have to watch that.
Yeah, I'll
We do not have to pay taxes. They've never. If you send them a letter and you have a list of things, you have to send them conditional acceptance where you say, look, I would be more than happy to pay what you say I owe you if you can prove that you provided me a service that I owe you.
correct.
What did I do? Or what did you do for me that I owe you this money? If you can prove
But
it.
before you do that, you've got to separate yourself from the government. Like, you are owned by the state. So what he did is he went to the British Privy Court and claimed his, land and all that kind of stuff the proper way, and claimed his title. He claimed his straw man, and this is what the Masons do. They know about it. They know how to get around the syntax grammar and what words to use, and that's how they get away with not paying tax. You look at all the big corporations; they don't pay tax, and that's why. Tax is a war thing. You shouldn't be paying tax if it's not war.
Right.
Yeah, tax. I mean, look around the world. In the last 100 years, they've almost run out of things to tax us. There's even like your death tax, your birth certificates, and from the moment you're born to when you die, you're paying tax.
Yeah. I mean, the whole system is satanic. I put the verse in there earlier where it says, with feigned words, they shall make merchandise of you. And
Yeah,
they did.
Yep.
I mean, the Bible is true. It is 100% true. It is the word of God. It is the truth. And everything that is in there has already happened or it's about to happen. And as far as the system with paying taxes and all that, it's disgusting. When you look at your birth certificate and it says banknote,
Yeah.
it's really a sick world that we live in. I don't think they're going to shut down the grid. I think that if they do shut the grid down, it'll be just for a few days. But what I'm getting at is I think that at this point, we're getting really close to where, for the Christians, we know that we're fine. We know that the blood of Jesus, he is our advocate. We're good. We're immortal. We have eternal life. We know that. But at this point, it's getting really close to where us making a difference in the world is going to most likely be on the internet. They might.
Yeah, I'm starting to think that. But I don't think like they'll take down the power network or the internet as a choice done deliberately. I think it'll happen by accident from an EMP or something, or a cable being cut in the ocean due to earthquakes or something like that. Do you know what I mean? I don't think that they would deliberately do it. I mean, Russia tested a few years ago their internet to see if it would run within their country. Australia done the same thing. All countries that have their own domain name can function the internet within their own country without being needed to connect it to other servers in other countries.
I think that because we're so interconnected, worldwide, that if one country's internet goes down, if Bolivia's internet goes down.
Oh yeah, it's the 7 supercomputers, mate. That's what the internet is, and I think that's what the Australian government has been doing with the quantum computer that they got, that the Australian public know nothing about. And every 5 years, the growth on the quantum computer doubles to what the human potential gives it. And it's just amazing how fast they would need a quantum computer to take in everything off the internet, store it, because when it goes down, it's going to go down. all that's going to be lost unless they have these quantum computers in bunkers that are going to work. But the internet is run by 7 supercomputers. That's all it is, mate. And one of those computers go down, that country that it's in is going to go down, and those other countries, they're going to lose different services.
Everything would crumble because of all the day trading, all the transactions that happen during,
correct.
If the internet completely crashes for a whole country, everything is going to fall on itself, because all the deals being made, everything, the whole flow of commerce will completely crumble. But I want to ask you about the supercomputer before I forget. And hey, I do want to thank everyone and you, Ella. I didn't plan on coming on here being social. I had just woke up. I smoked a little bit of a joint. And so thanks for being patient. I feel like I was all over the place trying to make a bunch of different points. So thank you for dealing with me on that.
You're welcome anytime, mate.
Do we have video evidence of the supercomputer in action? I've never seen it. I've seen I remember Richie from Boston, who I personally don't trust at all. But
I don't trust him, yeah.
I remember like 5 years ago when he was showing the D-Wave and, going.
Yeah, I remember that, yeah. That's pretty much what they are.
But do we have a screen? Like, have we ever seen these computers in action? Like, do we know? Like, for us to say the International Space Station is fake, which it is 100% fake.
Oh, yeah.
But for us to say that that's fake, but then look at the videos they give us for CERN, which is just a wall with a bunch of cords hanging out of it, and then them saying, that they're doing all this stuff where they're smashing particles together. We don't know if that's real. That could totally be fake, just like the ISS.
Yeah, that's
so the supercomputer. I've never seen it in action. I know what they does.
Oh, I know there are videos on the Australian archives of the computers they had in the 60s and the 70s, the old analog, before they went to digital, and how big they were and what they were doing back then. They quite happily showed everything back then and talked about what the plans were and everything. I'll dig that video up for you. That was filmed in the late 70s. But yeah, that's a really interesting video because it talks about what they want to do in the future. And there's another video that used to be called Beyond 2000. And they got on several times and spoke about how the internet would be in Australia's future and, all the Internet of Things. They were talking about the Internet of Things in the 80s,
Really? They were using the same phrase?
Yep. I'll show videos where they've got everything fridge where you can sit down and, do your shopping on this and your banking, and it'll be delivered to you. And, I'll dig them out. All programming in the late 70s, early 80s.
Can you give me the title of that video from earlier? The guy that you were talking about that separated himself from the Australian.
I'm showing it now. It's Prince Leonard.
Oh,
yeah. Yeah, it's on my videos. Leonard Casely, better known as Prince Leonard, founder of a self-proclaimed micronation in the Principality Hutt River within the Australian state of Western Australia, governed Hutt River from 21st of April 1970 until his abdication in February 2017. He basically got cancer and died at a coronation ceremony that placed his son Prince Graham on the throne. Having pursued a number of occupations, Casey eventually settled on farming, purchasing a large wheat farm near the towns of Northampton and Geraldton in the 60s, where he came to own 75 square kilometres, 29 square miles in 1970. He declared independence and founded the Hutt River Province in response to a dispute with the government of Western Australia over what Casely family considered a draconian wheat production quotas. His Royal Highness Prince Leonard of Hutt was the style used by Casey from the creation of the Principality until his death. Now, a couple of years ago, there was a thing where Saddam Hussein was saying that Australia was doing low wheat quotas, and there was a big scandal about it. And then the Chinese tried saying last year that the Australians were doing it with the soy. I can understand that goes on. But this bloke lived there his whole life, and he wasn't touched, basically. Yeah, they just left him alone. He'd have to be a Mason. He come from England. His family come from overseas. So, it's like the real king.
Look,
sorry.
I just saw that he was. I saw the military thing. I do know for a fact that there are people that are able to be in the military and not be secret society, because I almost joined the army and I am not secret society. So that's the one thing I keep in the back of my mind, because I do believe that the majority of people in the military are sworn into some type of a, one of
Oh,
the.
they are. They become property of the government. They, they become owned. That you're sold to die. That's what soldier means. You are sold to die. Basically, there was a guy in the 40s in World War II. He was drafted, and he was a Christian. I think he was a pastor, and he refused to fire a gun, and he never fired the gun, and he would run out and get bodies on the field and try and save them, and he got a really high, well-respected commendation for not killing anyone and sticking to his Christian belief and everything. And,
Hacksaw on the Ridge. They made a movie about it.
So,
If we're talking about,
Mel Gibson. Yeah, I read the book. Yeah, Hacksaw Ridge. Yeah, I couldn't think, but that goes on. I mean, if I was drafted, I don't think I could kill someone. There's no way I could.
Right. Well, we have a little different perspective. I don't know though. I think the situation, if we're in a fight or flight moment and we had no options, I mean, for a very long time, my immediate reaction is to rebuke Satan in the name of Jesus. I think that's our number one weapon when we see a threat, that there is power in the name of Jesus. And I've literally witnessed people submit to his name. And it's because once we exercise power over the demons, over Satan, when we say, Satan, I rebuke you in the name of Jesus, I bind you by the power of the Holy Spirit, you're not welcome here, leave. When you do that and Satan leaves, whoever the man or the threat or whatever was in front of you, that demon is gone, because Satan's motive is to steal, kill, and destroy. I don't believe that anyone can kill us unless there's a demon involved, present. So when we exercise authority over the demon, then that person is just left. There's a lot of videos of seeing it happen in real time.
Soulless, yeah. Because sometimes I believe the soul can leave the body and, just leave like an empty vessel there.
Well,
but, to me, mate, I wouldn't run. I wouldn't be worried. And I'd just say, bring it on. I'm with the Lord. I don't care.
Right.
That's how I am, mate. I don't care. I know the Lord's got my back. And I know if I'm meant to live out of that situation without harming another soul, I will.
I think that's the preferred thing. I would hate to be the one, at my trigger finger sending someone to hell. If I know someone's not saved, or I just don't want to kill anybody either. I mean, that's the truth. I mean,
I can't even, in the middle of summertime, the flies are around. I have troubles killing flies, and I feel bad when I set a fly trap and see hundreds of flies in it. I cry. I know I'm a sissy, but that's life.
Well, no, you're really sensitive in the spirit. You're tuned into it, and we're talking about life and death of any kind.
That's life, and the way I think of it, when I look at those little creatures, I think, how would I feel if something come into my world and just crushed me like that? How would I feel? That's how I think.
Yeah.
And I do cry. Little things like that get to me. I feel, sometimes I have to tune out because it just gets to me, and I have to distract because it drags me down, drags me in, So.
Yeah, there's. I've never cried over it, but I do know that line of thinking.
Yeah, it's like when I see an animal get hurt, it just it hurts me bad.
Yeah, when you think about it, no matter what it is, it's just doing its thing, whatever it's God programmed it to do. It's just going about its daily business, and then bang, you know what I mean? So I do get that part for sure. Stu, you are correct. I think you said saying that I'm saying that membership in Masonic orders is rampant in the military.
Yeah, they do a lot of hazing here too. There was a royal commission into sex and hazing and a university sort of drinking culture in the Australian Defence Academy in Sydney at Holsworthy Barracks. There was a real lot of problems probably 8-9 years ago with junior cadets speaking out to the media on what was going on and filming it. Big uproar. They didn't want to get it out.
Over what was it?
Oh, these young kids, they were getting hazed by these senior military, and they filmed it and then went to the media with it. And
Oh, gotcha.
yeah, the government cracked down on it straight away. See, look here, this guy looks like he's got one eye frozen back there. Oh, bugger, I clicked it and it's moved. But that statue there with him, it looked like he was blinking, like he had one eye open and one eye closed.
Well, the Bible says that he that winketh deviseth evil in his heart. So I think when a lot of times they'll use those things. I don't know
Oh,
what
yeah.
that's about,
Yeah.
or if it's a actual person that was frozen in time.
See, the Freemasons are everywhere. Like every town that was formed had a Freemason place there. Girl Guides and Boy Scouts are Freemasons. Yeah, you know, you everything is planned, scripted, and this is just the end of it, you know, because it just can't continue. I don't think the Lord will let it go on, mate.
No, well, no, it's pretty much a wrap as it is. I don't think that a lot of those people at this stage of the game, I think only at the very, very top are they aware of the fact that Jesus was actually on the earth for 1,000 years, like that we're like the true history of the world. I don't think they tell that to most people.
They don't. Yeah, no, they don't. And other people just have so much cognitive dissonance, they have trouble believing it.
Like I've seen some low level Masons that, you know, I think they firmly believe what they're saying, and it's
Yeah, apparently when my uncle was like that, do you know what I mean? He was a Christian, went to church every Sunday, you know, worked the property and all that kind of stuff. Wasn't high up in the masonry, but you know, he was always volunteering and everything like that. But I think if he had known what they were really about, I don't think he would have been a part of it. You know?
yeah, it's knowing what I know, it's really difficult for me when it comes to that because of what I know about the situation. I don't think it's possible to be both, you know, but that's because I already know what it is. You know what I mean? If someone goes in blindly and goes through the rituals and, you know, swears an oath, not knowing that the Bible says above all things, swear not, don't take an oath. You know, if I, in that point, because you know, we're not saved by works. Yes. In some situations, I think that there are low level Masons that don't know what's going on that actually are saved. I think that is possible. But for a long time, I didn't. And I was very rigid when it came to if I ever saw someone who claimed to be a Christian, but I knew that they were a secret society or that they had, you know, said they were a Mason or something, I would go pretty hard at them, explaining like you can't be in both families. That's why they call it the family.
Yeah.
He's a counterfeit. He's trying to, I don't know, but
See, they're told when they join that they're to leave all their gods at the door. You know, that it's not to have any religions and it's to be a brotherhood. You know, I think that's the first mistake they make.
well, I don't know. I'm trying not to focus on them too much. I
Yeah.
cared a lot, and then I can see most of the nonverbal communication. Like all that time I played playing poker, studying body language and stuff. I just can see it now, and
Yep.
it does drive me crazy.
Oh, it's hard, and especially when you come across someone that doesn't see it and turns around and says you're crazy or stupid. You know, to cop it on the chin without saying something. It's hard. You know. Yeah.
So what is that right there you're showing? Prince Leonard.
Yeah, Prince Leonard. So I've got a few other good videos there, but I might get out the old USB, so external hard drive with a terabyte full of old videos, driving the truck around Australia, different places, and I'll have a look at them, see what I've got. So, but yeah, I mean, if people haven't got a plan, a go bag, and you know, somewhere safe to go out, get away from the cities by now, you should. You know,
Well,
you should have a bag with like one change of clothes, your medication, spare keys, your identification, a torch, a first aid kit, you know, just basics in a backpack that, you know, everyone in the family can just go. Always keep your tank of fuel at full, have a full jerry can, because when it hits, it's going to hit, mate. And, you know, you need to be able to get out of the cities.
But
you
Ella,
know?
that's the thing. If we think about it, how is someone, as far as driving, like there's a lot of people that are in cities where
Mm.
if it pops off, those roads will be blocked in a total chaotic mess.
Oh yeah, I know. That's where I learnt back roads and learnt tracks, fire tracks. You
Right.
know, bush tracks. I have a 4-wheel drive. I'm going bush bashing. You know, where I'm going is in the middle of central Queensland when shit hits the fan, because I know the Aboriginals survived there for a long time, and if the Aboriginals can survive there, I know I can. I know how to survive off the land. There's plenty of food on the land, man. So.
I agree.
That's the joy of having Aboriginal in your family. I've always been attracted to the Aboriginal life. I don't know why, but just like the Dreamtime stories and how they've lived and the way the tribes lived, and it always interested me, you know. And now my children have it. They just have it. I don't know how to explain it. It's just like they've got a inbuilt sensory that knows what to do. I don't have to tell them. It's like they just know. They know what to do. So, yeah.
Well, that's good.
But yeah, no, it's great to have you here, mate. And yeah, I've been around. I've been watching everyone's videos, Alan's and Webb's and Skulls made a few good videos recently. I've been watching everyone, just being busy doing my son's homeschooling, and it's exam time. It's almost school holiday. Bloody cold weather gets me too. So, yeah.
Well, I appreciate you. I'll hit you up. I'll send you an email.
Yeah, mate. Yeah, mate. I think what you mentioned about, you know, starting to make videos about conspiracy theories that come true to help people, I think that is just excellent idea too. Yeah.
I
I
just,
think
you know, what's kept me paralyzed spiritually is the idea of this impending doom. Because when you say that, it's like, yeah, that's a good idea. I think that's a good strategy to deprogram someone. But then my next thought is, yeah, but it's pretty much too late. Everything's already, you know, is there even time to wake people up? So,
that's how my father feels. Yeah, my dad, he's like that.
well,
He's like,
that's
what's
what,
the point? You know, he said people are so ignorant and arrogant. He said, apart from you, he said, I try and talk to anyone else about what I know. It's like banging my head up against a brick wall. So,
yeah. But that thinking kept me from not doing anything for years. Because if I think that there's no point because it's over, you know, like there's a lot of time left.
time is a construct of man. It doesn't exist on the outside of this world. It's done to entrap us, to keep us in system, you know, to keep us trapped.
Right.
So, yeah, it's the biggest problem humans have is the time construct and being trapped in that. Yeah. But yeah, I'll email you. Email me when you hop
will.
off, mate, and we'll catch up. So,
Well, I'll get out of here. Much love to everyone. I will.
yeah, I just ask, you know, like, Lord, barrier protection around you, Joel, and everyone here in the chat, you know, whether you're with God or not, I just ask for a barrier protection around you all so that you're all safe, that no harm may come to anyone of you that is listening to this right now, in Jesus' name. I just pray your vibrations will rise up so you don't fall into this low vibrational hum and believe what is going on. Stay strong, you know, don't get angry, and, you know, just try and love your neighbor. So, yeah.
I agree.
Amen. Yeah.
All right. I will talk to you later. Thank you.
All right. See you, Joel.
All right. Bye.
Bye. And yeah, thank you, everyone. Yeah, I saw that, Mr. A. I have a video of that. I've got the video. There was another video 2 years ago. Someone got pissed in Victoria. It's a couple in South Australia, and they burnt the towers down. And in the video, it was quite easy to do. It only took one little jerry can of fuel. and they just lit it at the base of the tower, and it just went up really fast. So yeah, thank you, Rob, and other fucker. Is it other? Sorry, I didn't mean to be rude. Other Okafe, hello, and thank you too. Lee, good to see you here. Paul, Stu, Nicole, Rob, just great to see all my regular friends here. Aina, it's lovely. So wherever you are in the world, raise your vibrations. Much love. See you later. Have a good day. Bye.